Archbishop Emeritus Desmond Tutu has unfortunately passing away at the age of 90 at his home in Cape Town. He did live a very long and fruitful and very powerful life, did Utamkhulu Tutu. Now let's continue to get some reaction. We're joined now by the Minister in the Presidency, Mondli Gungubele. Very good morning, and I would want to say a good morning, but of course the country is in mourning itself, Minister Gungubele. Let me start here. How is the family, the Tutu family, especially Umamleya, doing at the moment? Is the Presidency able to tell us?
Good morning to your viewership. Of course, the family is going through a sad moment, and His Excellency President Cyril Ramaphosa, in acknowledging the sad loss of this champion of human rights, the champion of godly pursuit, the champion of humanity, extends his condolences to the family, the children, the entire nation of our country, and the entire movement of human and godly pursuit for the sad loss of such a great icon who unwaveringly stood firm, unrelentingly against the twisted racial supremacy, faced torture, humiliation, survived, and stood amongst the leaders who charted the way to the establishment and the acceptance of the Constitution, which is the birth certificate of our nation. We salute him in this sad moment. We say we'll always remember what he stood for, and that memory is the one that will keep us on our toe to ensure that the struggle that he was pursuing never fall on the wayside. We're saying to our people, to the entire nation, let's all mourn this greatest hero, this great hero, this icon, Bishop Emeritus Tutu, on his sad departure, but remember him with the fondest of all memories for the marvelous work he has done towards the liberation of this country.
Minister, there are not enough superlatives, I would imagine, in any language to describe Utamkhulu Archbishop Emeritus Desmond Tutu, but what are the future generations of South Africa, what are the future generations of this world to remember of this champion, as you call him, this giant as we have known him to be?
One of the most defining things, if you have followed the old man for years, is his resilience, his unwavering stance, his fearlessness, and how rewarding such a stance can prove to be. The extent that because of that resilience, surviving all forms of humiliation by the apartheid state, that resilience, that unrelenting stance, that character will always be rewarded. I think that's the greatest lesson we can learn about departed Bishop Emeritus Ubabu Tutu. I think young people can learn a lot that a human resilience, patience for what is good does get rewarded.
I'm sure you would agree, Minister, that another thing that future generations can learn from the Archbishop was his truth, his honesty, his brutal honesty, in fact, especially when it came to criticism of things he did not agree with, the government being one of those, the ANC, of course, being one of those. And as somebody who was at the forefront as a religious leader in ensuring that the apartheid system came to an end, he did not come to like what it is he saw with the present government. I mean, would you agree that he was somebody that was never really satisfied with what it is he was seeing right down to his last days?
Let me say this. There's one critical role he played was to ensure that the conscience for human standards, for human rights, for humanity, at all material times, whether it's the conscience of the party in power, whether the conscience of the governing party, he always stood unrelentingly. He didn't care who you are, whether you're a head of the state, whether you're in charge of the country. He always ensured that human rights, human prosperity, human triumph precede all these other things, irrespective of the relationship you might have had with him. That's what the bishop demonstrated, that he was honest and meant the mission for which he stood. It didn't matter who crossed the line. He stood, and I think, to a great extent, it helped keep the conscience of everyone on top of the water in as far as humanity and human rights are concerned.